My phone is my bank.
Sampath Mobile Banking. Convenient, easy, saves time. Sampath Bank, we present your future.
A very good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of News First Weekend, coming to you live from our Newsfirst Centre in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudarnayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
President Maithripala Sirisena graces Maldives Independence Day celebration. Chief suspect in a murder, Ukwa, shot dead in Tangol. The former secretary of the UNP comments on the party. A large group pledges to give up drugs at the Newsfirst National Anti-Drug Drive.
President Maithripala Sirisena has arrived in the Maldivian capital of Male on a state visit. He was invited to be the chief guest for the 50th independence anniversary celebrations of the Republic of the Maldives today.
The Sri Lankan delegation, led by President Maithripala Sirisena, was extended a warm welcome by Maldivian President Abdullah Yameen when they arrived at the President's office in Male. An official meeting between the two presidents was also held this evening. While President Maithripala Sirisena had voiced his appreciation for the support rendered by the Maldives to Sri Lanka in the international fora, President Yameen had pledged the Maldives' continuous support to Sri Lanka on the international stage. Sri Lanka was one of the first countries to establish formal diplomatic relations with the Maldives in 1965 after the country, previously ruled by a sultan serving the British, gained independence. The sovereign island nation is located 700 kilometers away from the western coast of Sri Lanka and is one of the world's most geographically dispersed countries with 1,192 islands. Considered as the lowest country above sea level with a population of 3 million, the country's national anthem was composed and written by renowned Sri Lankan musician Pandit W.D. Amaradeva. The country's national language, Divehi, bears many similarities to Sinhalese. Meanwhile, prior to his departure to the Maldives, President Maithripala Sirisena attended the 37th annual summit of the Institution of Incorporated Engineers Sri Lanka this morning.
I see certain obstructions to the development of this country. The main obstruction is that there is no close relationship between the country's politicians and professionals in terms of not being able to express your ideas openly and speaking your conscience. This is just one side of the obstructions to the development of the country. Take doctors for instance. It is quite common that there are divisions among them when they try to work together. Moreover, when you try to apply the competition in the fields you represent internationally for the development of this country, it is essential that you maintain unity, togetherness and friendship among one another.
President Sirisena also expressed his views on the wages and allowances of professionals.
I completely accept the fact that there should be fairness in terms of your wages and benefits. I, as the government, will take the required measures to resolve these issues on your behalf.
The chief suspect of a murder was shot dead in the Tangol town today. The suspect was identified as Jaivira Patabandage Indika alias Ukwa.
The victim, himself a suspect in a murder, was shot dead by an unidentified group who arrived in a car while he was travelling in a three-wheeler with his brother this morning. The suspect, Jaivira Patabandage Indika, who goes by the name Ukwa, died on the spot. Two others who were injured in the shooting are receiving treatment at the intensive care unit of the Tangol hospital. Police said that the victim had previously been remanded and released on bail over an incident where he was accused of shooting and killing a bus conductor at the Tangol bus stop on the 4th of June 2014. The victim is also suspected to have been involved in the shooting of Amila Rajapaksa, alias Ami Amila. close to the Tagore Court complex on the 22nd of May 2014. Amir Miller suffered injuries to his lungs and liver, but our correspondent said that he has made a full recovery. Amir Miller is also being tried for rape and murder.
The murder of Ukwa became the trending story of the night and comments flowed on our social media page. Master Mud, commenting on Facebook, says that the people who bear arms will fall victim to them as well. While Atul Darshana says they are reaping what they sow. Upul Lilanta questions as to who will be next. If you would like to be a part of the conversation, do feel free to voice your comments on our trilingual Twitter handle at Newsfirst_EN or on our Facebook page www.facebook.com/Newsfirst.English. You could also visit our website www.Newsfirst.lk. These were the views which were expressed by political party leaders on the political platform.
Many from the Matale district engage in farming activities, construct shops and build houses on state property, subsequent to obtaining a permit or if they have a Swarnabhumi deed. I promise to those who have a valid permit or if they have a valid Swarnabhumi deed and have been waiting for 10 years, we will pass the law within a year which will allow them to have the right to get freehold of the land. We will give them that right. Instead of giving lands to just one rich family, it is everyone's right to have their own land and maintain it. Because it is useless to keep all these lands under the government. We must give them to the people.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa is asking why Sajid Premadasa left Kesalwata and came to the Hambantota district. If I were to put it in simple words, I left Colombo and came back to Hambantota because the Rajapaksas did not treat the people of the Hambantota district properly. It has been 21 years and I have never left the Hambantota district, neither will I ever leave it. I wish to tell you that even if you throw resin at me, you can never chase Sajid Premadasa away.
The most corrupt individuals are those who are referred to as the most powerful. They are philanderers, ethanol dealers, child molesters and extorters. These are the type of people who are referred to as the powerful in mainstream parties. No one can and will be able to understand as to how they became billionaires and how they earn their wealth. We are disgusted to be on the same stage with them. We say that we need to create a political culture that will be able to preserve your self-respect and uplift your self-worthiness.
United National Front for Good Governance Colombo District candidate Pathali Champika Ranawaka unveiled his election manifesto this morning. The occasion, which took place in the premises of Apegama in Batharamulla, saw the attendance of a group including Venerable Dr. Omar Pesobithera, Deputy Minister Dr. Harsha De Silva and Hema Premadasa.
Peramuna Ganimin Kapavi Sitina
Apitame Mava Papu Asharmat Wardane.
Even though some managed to fill their bank accounts by portraying that we are undergoing miraculous development by means of concrete and steel, the country has actually seen a growth of 4% last year. There was no such growth of 8%. We need to change the system to a system where we can develop families and their economic situation.
Ranil Wickremesinghe මැතිතුමා පොරොන්දු වෙලා තියෙනවා.
Ranil Wickremesinghe promised that he will not split the country and that the unity of the country will be protected. Even Mahinda Rajapaksa is saying the same thing. If this is the scenario, then how can the country split? If the President, the Prime Minister and the opposition agree to protect the oneness of the country, how can the country divide? We are the ones who brought unity among the leaders of this country, not those who have surrounded Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Mahinda gawa කැරකෙන පංගර නැට්ටෝ නෙවෙයි. ජනාධිපතිතුමා හොඳ වෙලාවට තමන්ගේ.
Thankfully, the President invited the media and expressed his stance early because he said that he will give the position of Prime Minister to any other MP but Mahinda Rajapaksa. Then what became of Mahinda Rajapaksa's dream of becoming Prime Minister?
බොල් හීනයක් පුස් වෙඩිල්ලා ඒ බස් රැලි යුගයේ ඉවරයි
The era of bus rallies came to an end. The era where some of the beneficiaries became political slaves is over. We have ended the era where the racketeers' money were used to make cutouts and posters.
Let's take a look at some of the views expressed on the political stage.
The police are tearing down posters of Vikramasinghe. Did this happen during Rajapaksa's tenure? If it happened, then those in the police would have been transferred. Good governance. This is the true story. We consider all people to be equal before the law.
Give your preferential vote to those you want. If you do not prefer me, I have no problem. I am not a person who will fight over that. But I will say this to you. If there is a candidate who only criticizes others, then reject them. Do not send them to the esteemed parliament.
When casting the ballot, we need to think about it. There are 20 million people in this country. These 20 million need not go begging after politicians. If this country is developed with a proper vision, we can build a beautiful country where there are employment opportunities for everyone.
Who has Mahinda Rajapaksa put forward? On one hand, there are drug peddlers. On the other hand, there are thieves. If they are unable to put forward the thief, then they opt for the thief's wife. This is Mahinda Rajapaksa's list.
As a government, we put an end to extortionary politics and treated the people with fairness. The United National Front has put forward a list of peer nominees.
Politicians cannot have separate agendas. They cannot have other jobs. Politicians should be able to work for at least 18 of the 24 hours in the day. This is how we engaged in politics. We never engaged in part-time politics.
Before you cast your ballot, think with your conscience about who you are going to entrust your children's future to. Think about whether you can entrust their future to drug peddlers and ethanol smugglers. I ask that you think about this before you vote.
Mahinda Rajapaksa was good to end the war. The war was ended. However, some people thought that Ranil was good to develop the country and they voted accordingly. But you can see that within these 8 months, he has not even provided a hint that he has the ability.
Parliamentarians from India and Pakistan had come for a parliamentary conference that was held in China. They asked me in English, "Who is the president of your country?" I replied that it was Rajapaksa. The speaker was also Rajapaksa. The economic affairs minister was Rajapaksa. The defense minister was Rajapaksa. And even the bus Naik was Rajapaksa. Those MPs asked me if the surname of every person in the country is Rajapaksa. I said no, but we are living in such a shameless country.
What we lost on the 8th of January was not President Mahinda Rajapaksa's presidency. We lost the sovereignty of this country. We lost our territorial integrity. On the 8th of January, we lost the development journey of this country.
Through the 100 days program from the 8th of January, we laid a good platform to establish good governance in the country. At the same time, through the 100 days program, we enacted an instant relief system for the people who were facing immense pressure due to the unbearable cost of living.
The largest financial fraud in the recent history of the country, the central bank scam, took place under Ranil Wickremesinghe's government. Now he has stopped the Northern Express with something called the Central Expressway. But a change has been made. They have shown a reduction in the total cost. How have they done this? They reduced the number of lanes.
Since Mahinda Rajapaksa will become an ordinary MP to the people of Kurunegala after the 18th of August, there are some benefits that they are set to receive. A mayor who shoots using toy pistols. They will get a bunch of thugs like Julampete Amare.
Expressways have been built in this country. Footpaths have been turned into concrete roads. Schools have been developed. Is this wrong? While all this was being done, a group of wasteful people who wanted to assume power started calling Mahinda a dictator.
No one's hopes were fulfilled. While the former president and all the former ministers worked to fill their own pockets, they did nothing to fill the people's pockets. Under our government, we reduced the price of petrol and diesel and brought down the cost of living, giving the people much needed relief.
සියලුම බඩුවල මිල ඉහළ යන්න පටන් ගන්න තියෙනවා.
At present, the prices of all goods are on the rise. Even the price of coriander and turmeric has risen. It's like a lyric from a song by Sunil Pereira. Why do we need whiskey and brandy when we have coriander? I ask that Sunil Pereira's song be made the UNP's theme song.
අවුරුදු පහකට පස්සේ ආවේ අවස්ථාව හොඳට හිතලා බලලා වැඩ කරන්නකෝ නොපමාව වරදූෂක මැරයෝ පන්නන්න මේ වෙලාව 17 වෙනිදාට පෙන්විය හැකිය ඔබේ කලාව.
Leader of the People's National United Front for Good Governance, Susil Kindalpitiya, was invoked blessings at the Vishnu Kovil located on Anderson Road, Dehiwala, prior to the commencement of election campaigning.
A group including the leader of the TULF, the Ananda Sangari, were present for this occasion.
මේ සංකේතවත් කරන්නේ සාමය හා සහජීවනයයි.
This symbolizes peace and coexistence. The Tamil United Liberation Front and the People's National United Front for Good Governance under my leadership will commence election campaigning today. We have just broken the ice in our effort to create a united Sri Lanka devoid of colour and party differences. We have laid the foundation in creating a new country by avoiding all political agendas that only work toward their benefit.
ගනුදෙනු මේ සියල්ල වළක්වලා අපි එකට එකතු වෙලා අලුත් රටක් ගොඩනැගීමේ සටනට මුල පුරලා තියෙනවා.
God will bless us. Changes will take place in the country very soon. I believe that God Venkadeshwari will bless us so that the people will live in peace.
The controversial central bank bond transaction, which has made headlines ever since it was exposed, came under criticism at media briefings today as well.
මෙච්චර කාලයක් මහා භාණ්ඩාගාරේ මහ බැංකුව තිබුණේ මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශයට.
Until now, the money in the treasury, the central bank, was under the Ministry of Finance. But now, for the first time, the affairs of the country's treasury, the central bank, came under the Ministry of Economic Affairs, which means that the Minister of Finance is Ravi Karunanayake, but the central bank falls in the hands of Ranil Wickremesinghe. There was this person called Charlie Mahendran back then. It is Charlie Mahendran's son, Arjuna Mahendran, who has been appointed as governor of the central bank. What happened? It did not take long after that, because on the 28th of February, which was then just 2 months down the 100 days, when the biggest loss of the central bank in the history of the country was incurred, his son-in-law gave bonds of the central bank at a usury rate. The people of this country who earn with the utmost difficulty have incurred a loss of 42 billion rupees within these 5 months alone.
රුපියල් කෝටි 4200ක් පාඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා.
දැන් යහපාලනේ ඇතුලේ මිස්ටර් ක්ලීන්ලා නැහැ.
There are no Mr. Cleans in this government of good governance. One thing is clear, that through this bond transaction at the central bank, a major financial fraud and thievery which amounts to a loss of nearly 60 billion rupees has been incurred. Where are the Mr. Cleans? I do not know if people like Champika Ranawaka, who attacked and criticized the government for corruption 2 weeks before the election, are now doing justice to this issue. 2 weeks ago he said that this was a robbery, but now he has fallen to the point of the robbery and is now protecting it.
මහා හොරකමක් කියලා. හැබැයි දැන් ඒ හොරකම් කරපු තැනට වැටිලා මේ
The National Anti-Drug Drive, organized by Newsfirst, Sirisa and Shakti, together with the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board, was continued in the northwestern province today.
Madam, me උල්වන්න මේ ඉන්න මේ පේනවා ග්‍රාම සේවක මහත්තයා දැන් අවුරුදු කීයක්ද මේකට පස් වෙලා ඈ.
We met this individual in the Mundalam area in Puttalam. Though this person, who has been addicted to marijuana for a long time, argued with us at first, he reacted in an unexpected manner once we educated him on the negative impacts of his addiction.
මම ගංජා පාවිච්චි කරනවා.
I use marijuana, but I promise that I will not do this again. If someone comes looking for marijuana, then I would say no.
මං කියනවා නෑ කියලා.
Not stopping there, he even burnt the stock of marijuana he had hidden in his house before us.
මේ පැකට් පහම දාන්න බෑ පුතා ඔකට. පහම දාන්න පිටින්. හොඳ පුතේ බාඩපත් වෙන්න ඕන. හරි?
Amid the overwhelming response, we carried out our door-to-door campaign in the Udappur, Mundalama and Madurankule areas of the Puttalam district.
From morning, we visited many areas in the Puttalam district and informed people by going from door to door. What you can see behind me is the manner in which our team members are educating the public.
I use drugs once a week. My husband uses it too. We like to live happily after putting a stop to it.
During our visits, we met with those who deal drugs and those who use it. Officials of the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board educated these people on how to free themselves from addiction and on the services made available by the board. Yet another phase to educate the public on the negative impacts of the use of drugs was carried out in the Kurunegala district of the Northwestern Province for the second day today.
This is how our officials educate the public by going from door to door. We explain the negative impact of drug use.
The program, which got underway in Gatuwana, was conducted in Malkaduawa and Yantampalawa. The door-to-door anti-drug drive, which is being organized with the aim of creating a healthy society, will visit the Uva province next week.
Here are some of the views expressed by individuals who have had to face the brunt of harmful effects of drugs or otherwise.
There are many youth in this village who are addicted to drugs. It is the politicians who are mostly promoting this, as they distribute alcohol at meetings and make use of the youth for their own benefit. We request the people to choose a politician who is not involved in these things.
I asked my son, do you take drugs? He said yes. Then I asked him who gave it to him. He said he doesn't know who gave it to him, but maybe it was given along with a cigarette or with something that he drank. Where do the drugs come from? Where are these drug containers? Why aren't they being put out? They don't do it. The only outcome is that innocent children of innocent families become victims. So please vote for someone who is not corrupt in order to save our children. My son consumes alcohol because of bad influences. At least this time, let's not vote for those involved in drugs and bring this country towards good governance.
We request everyone to elect politicians who are against drugs.
The United People's Freedom Alliance convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
They are lashing back at Mahinda, saying he is bringing down ethanol. In 2013, 10.5 million litres of ethanol was brought to Sri Lanka. In 2014, 13.4 million litres of ethanol was reported to have been brought to the island. But in another report of Ranil Wickremesinghe, it stated that in the course of the first 6 months of 2015, 11.28 million litres of ethanol was brought to Sri Lanka. When we raised a question in Parliament regarding this, it was revealed that 28 new ethanol licenses were issued. Here is the evidence. We are not surprised by the fact. This is because all those MPs who are from the UNP are now in their national list.
UNP එකේ මේ පාර ජාතික ලයිස්ට් එකේ ඉන්නවා මේ සුමානේ තුල තියෙනවා සතිය තුල මම හිතන්නේ මුලින්ම අපි සාකච්ඡා කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ
We hope to discuss the membership of 5 MPs who have violated the party's rules and who are now contesting from a different party.
තරම් කරනවා එයාගේ පක්ෂ සමාජිකත්වයේ සම්බන්ධයෙන්
Benson, the beagle of Keats First, recorded another major victory today. This was at the dog show organized by Kennel Club of Sri Lanka in Colombo.
The 112th and 113th show of the Sri Lanka Kennel Club was held in Colombo today and saw the participation of nearly 200 dogs from about 20 different breeds.
Stay.
The Sri Lanka Kennel Club is the oldest of its kind in the country. The show saw the participation of prominent judges from England. Jasper from the Benson family was chosen as the best dog from the Beagle breed.
The photo booth just outside 113th ring.
Speaking at a media briefing convened by the United National Party in Colombo today, State Minister of Power and Energy spoke on the ability police officers have now to carry out their duties without any interference or obstruction.
හිටපු නියෝජ්‍ය අමාත්‍යවරයා නිශාන්ත මුතුහෙට්ටිගම.
Former Minister Nishantha Muthuhettigama publicly announced on a stage today that they are unable to put up posters anymore because the police come up and rip it apart, and that during their tenure the police looked away and never said anything about it. It is the same police force who were there when the party of Muthuhettigama was the ruling government who are serving today. They follow the same police ordinance, penal code and law. Now it is evident that these very same police officers are able to carry out their duty and implement the law without any burden. We have taken measures to give more appointments to female police officers and even appoint a female deputy inspector of police.
Journalists also question as to why they are not revealing the list of drug smugglers which is reported to be in the hands of the chairman of the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board.
We hope to reveal their names through whatever means, but at this juncture we are looking into their safety as we cannot put their lives at risk. I would like to thank you all for asking me this question. I will bring this to the attention of the President without further delay. We will not allow secretaries in ministries to carry out their duties in a wayward manner.
Meanwhile, a communique issued by the United National Party today noted that as per the instructions of the President, a security detail from the Police Special Task Force will be provided to the chairman of the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board, Dr. Nilanga Sumantipala, from tomorrow.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of News First Weekend. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.